guys, welcome to the project. This one's called Anita. In this project we learn how to put a magnetic clasp in the front, and we've got a lot of interesting details in the side as well. The only thing that's missing is a top zipper, but you can choose one of the methods that I have shown you in all these different bags that I have put together for you. So you could actually add a little feature on the top and close it with a zipper. We also learn how to put the handles in a cross direction. Though the pattern looks straight, I'm going to use a technique to show you how to do this in case if you want to use this in any other project that you make. Let's go ahead and get started with this project.
Now we go ahead and sew the bottom line as well. Okay, now that our loops are sewn in, take your little strap and then put a safety pin at the end and then pass the safety pin through and just wrinkle it and turn it all inside out. Okay, now fold it in the center and give it a quick iron. Let's give it a quick iron just to make it flat and remove all the creases that we had. Now let's go ahead and place this at the end. Give it an edge stitch so that it stays in place. Then we're going to pass it through there and put another stitch at the end. Let's place it like so and give it a quick stitch. Okay, so let's just pass this through each loop like a belt. And then open the loop and go ahead and sew another stitch at the end. Now just adjust your loops and make them all sit in the center like so, and there's your panel is ready. So now what we're going to do, we're going to take both the panels, and at the bottom every pleat you see, we're going to make like 5 pleats. This you will have to do it by hand. There's no marking for this, so just hold it like so and make 5 pleats so that the bottom starting to finish will become like 5 inches of base. And this is something that you have to take time and just do it manually, so it kind of measures 5 inches. Okay, both the side panels are now ready. I have pinned it. Now go ahead and measure it, and they should measure 5 inches or 12.5 centimeters. Okay, it's very important that it measures 5 inches, otherwise your bottom's not going to be sitting right. Okay, so now just to remove the pins and so the pleats stay in place, let's go ahead and put an edge stitch. This is just a stay stitch, so I'm putting this right at the end. Okay, I have removed my pins and placed them a little bit higher, because if the pins hold in place, it's easier to sew. Now at this stage, go and measure it exactly 5 inches or 12.5 centimeters. And if there's any extra, then chop a little bit at the end, just trim a little bit so that your base is exactly 5 inches. Okay, now let's go ahead and attach this to the main fabric. Okay, here is the lining where we have the pockets. Now let me go ahead and place the other side of the lining. And what we're going to do is, this is the bottom, so if you can lift up, that's the top of the pocket, that's the bottom. Go ahead and sew a 1/2 inch stitch starting and finishing with a back stitch. Same way, let's take the main fabric, place it one on top of the other, go and sew the bottom starting and finishing with a back stitch. In case if you get confused as to whether you have to sew this way or this way and you've not made your notches, simply go back to your pattern. Just place your pattern and see whether your pattern is matching, and then see the notch here. That is the side seam. That notch tells you that is the side seam. Okay, so now we need to sew the bottom. Let's go ahead and sew both this one and the lining one after the other. Same way, I'm going to go ahead and sew the main fabric as well. Okay, here is the seams that we have just sewn. We're going to press open the seams. Same way, let's just give a quick press from the right side as well. And now we're going to press the seams open of the main fabric. Okay, let's recap what we have done. We've prepared the lining, attached the patch pockets, joined the bottom seams. The same with the main part of the fabric. We've joined the bottom seams, pressed the seams open. We've prepared the handle. And here I have two handles. One handle I have already cut to the shape we need. I'm just going to show you what to do next with this handle. There is the bottom seam. There is the side seam. That's the main fabric. Now your handle is supposed to go and attach like this. Okay. So depending on how long you handle, because you don't have to follow the pattern exactly, you can make your handle a little bit longer, a little bit shorter, but determine where you want it to be. And I'm going to show you a good length that we have. If you follow the pattern properly, you will know how to do this. So basically, take this template, which has got the corner kind of V shape, and place it like so at the end of your handle. And then make a mark like I have made here. Okay, the same way, flip it over to the other side, place it at the end like so, and make a mark like I have done here. Okay, now what we're going to do is take your measuring tape and measure from the edge of the fabric exactly 4 inches to the starting point of this marking that we have done. And the same way, we go ahead and make this exactly 4 inches. So let's go ahead and trim this marking that we have just done. Do it right at the end, just before you go and join this. Otherwise, the webbing tape inside might fray quite a lot and you might lose the length of your handle. Now, I'm going to go ahead and measure again 4 inches, pin it, and we're just going to put a stay stitch. The same way we're going to go and do on the other side as well. So attach both the handle just with a stay stitch. Okay, we have attached the handle just as a stay stitch. At this stage, place it like so and make sure that they are the same length. If they're not, then you might have cut your handle a little up and down. This is the time to go and rectify it. Remove the stitches, measure it again, and go back and fix it. Okay? Now let's move on and just make some markings. Fold the top into half and make a notch mark. The same way, go and make a notch mark on this side as well. Before we go ahead and put them all together, we need to prepare these two panels. The one is the little base that we have, and then the flap. Okay, there is your flap template, and we have cut out a double-sided interfacing as per the template, and you also have a first notch at the bottom of the template. So go ahead and cut the notch and make a straight line on top of it. Okay, now place the template on 2 layers of your fabric that you're going to cover it with, and then go ahead and mark all around, including the notch mark, like so. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to trim this bottom bit off where we have cut off the line, because this we need it later on. You'll see why we need this. Now that we have got the full pattern marking, we're going to go and start from here. Start with the back stitch, go all the way around, finish with the back stitch. This bit is the opening. And at the same time, we've got this little flap which is going to be at the base of the bag. Now this is double-sided interfacing. Place it in the center like so, turn it over, and then go ahead and iron it so that at least one side of the fabric is stuck to the panel. Okay, take a little needle and thread and go ahead and just do a little basting stitch like so. Basically, we just want to kind of pull it all around and make it a round, proper round and a proper neat circle. Okay, we have basted all around just on single layer. If your thread is not strong enough, just go and take a stronger thread, or maybe 2 strands to and fro. Okay, now watch this. Just pull this like so, and then you could also pull the end. Make it quite tight so that it's in a tension. Can you see? So just take your time to do this. That way you are getting a really neat oval shape on the other side. Okay. Now once you're happy with the way it's sitting, you might have to move this pleats a little bit just to make sure that it's right, and just hold it like so, and maybe go ahead and just secure it so it doesn't move from anywhere. Okay, and now leave it like so and just go ahead and press, especially the sides, let it attach to the glue. Okay, now you can trim your thread because it's already kind of glued to the base. So I'm going to keep this aside and go back and go ahead and stitch this, prepare the flap, and then come back and work on both of them together. I have the marking, so I'm just going to go ahead and sew on the marking. Okay, we've finished the stitching. Now let's just go ahead and trim for about 1/4 inch. Don't leave too much. And also around the bend, just give a little snip so it's easy to kind of shape around when we iron it later on. So what we need now is just turn it over, and now go ahead and give it a quick iron. Okay, you can see the U-bend is a little bit like, you've got a really pointed corners. That is because we have not given enough of snips. So let me turn it over, give a few more snips, and then that should be fine. Okay, when we turned over twice, you can see that the sides are already opening. Just go ahead and open a couple of seams so it's easy to pass the interfacing inside the flap. Just a few. The reason we sew first and then turn it over and then remove the stitch, you might argue that why should we can leave a little bit of gap. But if you leave a little bit of gap, you won't get this perfect iron marking that's already there, and we can sew a top stitch. That's why we need to do this one first and probably go through this exercise of opening the seams. Okay, now we're going to pass it inside like so. Okay, now that you have placed your interfacing in, just go ahead and fold it on the line that was already folded, because we are going to sew a top stitch now. So go ahead and iron it. So basically what's happening is the interface is sitting inside sandwiched, and then we're going to press the fabric, so on both the sides it's going to be kind of glued to the interfacing stiffness, and it won't move at all. Once you're happy with it, let's just go ahead and give a net stitch all around. Okay, I've changed my foot again, so just go ahead and sew a net stitch. Okay, this is my magnetic attachment. This is my purse attachment. It's got 2 parts and 2 little screws, and you need computer screws to actually unscrew them and screw them back. Okay, so this is going to go, that's the top, this is going to go at the bottom of the flap like so, and this one, which is going to go inside like that, and then you could close this attachment, that is going to go the bottom piece like so. Okay, this we're going to do it later. So let's go ahead and make this mark. Basically your fabric needs to be cut in between these 2 oval shapes. Okay, so let me place it in the center like so. Just make sure that's absolutely perfect, and I'm gonna make a mark at the end. Basically whether you want to keep it and then make that, just go ahead and make it, and then we're gonna cut a little hole in there. Okay, I have made the little hole there, and just place it like so. Just make sure it's in the center. When you flip this over, just, you also need to be able to see the groove for the screws. And now place this on the top like so, and now place your screws with nails. It's going to be very difficult like so, and I just go ahead and tighten the screws. Okay, now we need to attach the other part of this attachment into the base. Now before we do that, I just wanted to show you, you could do it two ways. You could put it like so, and then it's all hidden when that's fixed properly. You could also put it this way and just make this poke out a little bit, so that would be attached to the front of the bag, that would be attached to the back of the bag. Okay, it's entirely up to you how you want to place it. Okay, I've just made a center mark on this bottom flap, and then I'm just going to place the bottom piece of the closure and then make a mark there, because we just need to cut a little hole. And just take a little craft knife, and I'm just going to make a little snip, because all you need is just a tiny amount of that hole, and you're good to go. And then just open this up a little bit. Okay, once you've made your marking, just push it through, and then it comes out like so. And then go ahead and place this attachment so it kind of holds in. You could either press it inside, or you can also press it outside. So I'm just going to place it in like so, and then that is quite secure. Okay, that is now all fixed in properly. So if I place it like so, hold it on like this, and that closes perfectly. Okay, now we need to go and sew this one to the bottom and this edge to the back of the bag. Before we go ahead and patch it to the main fabric, you need to make some markings. You need to make a little bit of trim on this flap. So hold it like so, and you can see the interfacing is giving you the fold line. This is too much of fabric because we only need half of this. So let's just go ahead and trim the excess off. So leaving for about 3/4 of an inch or half an inch. Half an inch is more than enough.
Thank you for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the project. Leave me a comment below and let me know. I shall see you next time. Thanks for watching.